everyone, today I am back over on Rainy Day, a public Minecraft Skyblock server, and I'm going to be explaining the difference on environments, what all the different environments mean, and how you can access different settings. Now before I jump into this video, please drop a like right now, which is the big thumbs up button, and please don't forget to subscribe if you're not already, and let me know in the comment section which is your favourite environment from Earth, Underworld, or Void. Now let's jump into that. Okay, so you might be thinking, Amy, what on earth are you on about when it comes to environment? So if I do the command /studies, you can see there is 3 categories here. Now, at the very start of season, over on Rainy Day, it will only be Earth that is unlocked. And essentially, both Underworld and Void are time locked. As the season goes on, as people grind, these will become unlocked. There is normally a timer below these, which will tell you when they are due to be unlocked. And so you start off with Earth, going into Underworld, and then finally over into Void. Now, if I just go back into studies, what you can actually do is go into that environment, and then you can see the different things that you can grind. So mobbing, mining, farming, woodcutting, or fishing. And what you can then do is you can go into each category to see the subcategories of what you are basically going to grind towards. So to start the season off, when you're in the Earth environment, you're essentially mining towards iron because everyone is on iron tools. You're then also going to want to get lapis so that you can use that for enchanting, and then eventually you're going to want to get redstone to be able to start making some redstone machines possibly. If I come back over to Underworld, just as the example really quickly, you'll see that these are now different, and essentially gold is the kind of end goal here for Underworld. So it is gold armor, gold tools, you use gold to repair in an anvil, and then the final one, which is just unlocked this weekend gone, is Void. And over in Void you can see the different categories here, and it's actually ancient debris that you're working towards, but you can unlock diamond tools to start with, and then eventually you can unlock that to get ancient debris, smell that ancient debris, and then craft it into netherite, and then you can craft netherite armor like so that I have in my inventory. And so essentially that is the difference between the environments, right? There are 3 environments and they've got 3 different subcategories in each. Now essentially Void is the best because it's the last one to be unlocked. So what I mean by that is if I come in here and I have a look at like the fish category, for example, the prices of these things tends to be much higher than what it would have been in Earth, just as a high level example. Now with this comes a ton of different features when each environment is unlocked, and how you can control your studies. So what I mean by that is if I just go back to my island for a second, okay, and over on my island, oh my gosh, what was that word I was trying to pronounce? If I do the command isfish, in here, this will tell you which environment I'm currently fishing on. So I'm currently fishing on Earth environment, and so these are the categories of fish that I can catch. However, I can immediately select it to Void, and I can begin grinding the Void fish studies. If I just come back over to /fish, you can see in here it works the exact same. So you don't need to unlock every single study in Earth to then be able to access Underworld, and then you don't need to unlock all of those to access Void. You can start on any of those environments, okay? However, depending on the environment that you start on, you will start at the very first study and then you have to work your way up to unlock them. So you're going to start off with Darkfish, eventually you're going to unlock Enderfish. So if you come in here, you can see when you get to the advanced version is when we can then start to grind Enderfish and so on and so forth. Okay, IS or Gem is the exact same thing. So right now I'm mining on Earth, and this is really useful because at any point you might need some redstone or you might need some lapis. So you're going to want to grind Earth, but then eventually at some point I can toggle that over to Void. I can start to grind on this category here. Now you'll notice that these are the only ones that I can actually get right now. That's because if I come back over to studies and I go over to the ore category, ancient debris is actually locked. And so in order to unlock it, you kind of have to work your way up. So you've got to unlock Emerald, and then you unlock Emerald to unlock Amethyst, to unlock this one to unlock Ancient Debris. So in here we can see when we get to advanced level, that is when I unlock Ancient Debris. Now, when it comes to mobs, if I can ever fly, when it comes to mobs, there isn't anything really to do. So if I just do the command /mob, again, I'm currently over on Void, so you can kind of tell that as you go through. You're going to start off with the ally mob, and then you're going to go through Phantom, Vax, Enderman, and then Endermite. Again, you'll notice these are all locked, but I can start on the Void mob category. In order to do this, I simply just need to go to /shop, and over in this category here, I can come ahead and I can buy those spawners, as we can see here, and then I just place those down, start grinding towards them, and then once I get to the advanced version, I can then buy phantom spawners, and then I can start to grind phantoms as well. The exact same thing when it comes to crops. Over on this category, again, you'll see I'm in Void here. But over on Void, you just need to buy sweet berries off the shop. Grind sweet berries. When you get to advanced, you can then unlock carrots, advanced cocoa bean, potato, and then eventually nether wart. Again, if I just go to the shop category over in farming, grab yourself some sweet berries, start grinding on those, and then eventually you will unlock carrots. And it's the exact same for wood. So if I just do wood studies in here, again, just to confirm, over on the Void category, but in here you start off with cherry blossom, over to dark oak, jungle, mangrove, and then eventually void fruit. As always, it's the advanced category that you need to unlock to then start grinding the second study. And again, over on the shop category, over in the farming section, I believe, no, not in the farming section, in the woodcutting section, you can actually buy the saplings. So get a couple of those, start planting them, and then just start to chop away on those ones, and then you'll start to go through the studies. Okay, a couple of extra FAQs that you need to know about with the different environments. First of all, sprites. I have a sprite video which I highly recommend watching if you haven't already. But if I just come on down to my sprites, each sprite is dependent on the environment. So what I mean by that is if I was to open a sprite key day one, I'm going to unlock a earth level sprite. So in here on the upgrades category, day one, this will say earth, and you'll only be able to go up certain levels. If you aren't in a rush, the best thing to do is wait until Void is unlocked and then open sprite keys over on Void category, because Void is the final one. So you'll actually see that I opened these sprites when it was Underworld. So in order to upgrade my sprite to Void, I have to buy them for 25 cloud coins for that upgrade. It is worth it from people who I know who have hundreds and hundreds of sprites. They do recommend it is worth it. But that is kind of the first FAQ to be aware about. The second FAQ is actually over on Clash armor pieces. So new interface, I've got a video explaining all of this very soon. But if I just take, for example, the battle armor, which is essentially Clash / DBoss armor, when you're on the Earth environment, you can get level 1 drops. When it is Underworld, we can then upgrade our armor to level 2 using level 2 drops, and then level 3, which is when Void is out, and you use those drops there. If I just come back in here, you can see the 3 different environments, and you can click in to see all of the different drops for Void and all the different drops for Underworld, and then same thing for Earth. It's also worth noting when we go to Warp crates, the items that are dropped in the crates, so if I just preview these, you will notice that these are all relevant to whatever the current environment is. So because we're on Underworld, you're just going to start getting netherite as well as level 3 Clash drops. If this was day 1, you would be getting the Earth drops. Now, if we go over to /Clash, in order to go to the teleport environment, you can set what you want to grind. So right now, mine's actually set to Underworld, but I could set this to Void. And then when I go back to that environment again, and I can teleport to the arena, all of the different drops, which I can't fly right now because there's a dragon up, but we can kind of see over in the distance. all the Endermen and the different trees. These are all related to the drops that you need to create that level 3 armor piece. And again, it's really worth noting, so you can categorize those in here, and then you can actually use armor forging, and you can use these to craft the armor, or you can use it to upgrade the armor if you want to. A couple of final FAQs. First of all, an enchant. There is now an enchant called Gold Hardening, and that is essentially making your tools last longer. I highly recommend trying to get a hold of that as soon as Void is unlocked. But that enchant is not applicable for fishing, so it's mainly useful for your pickaxe or your sword or your woodcutter, your axe. But that is what the enchant is really useful for. The second thing to note is actually the Stormbroker, which comes in on the hour at Warp PvP, and Stormbroker's prices have now increased. And it's worth highlighting the monthly key, which is normally cheaper when you're in the Earth environment. It's actually now 5 million now that Void is unlocked. A little more because we was predicting it to be 2 million, but it is now 5 million. But as your environments move with the season, the items that are dropped into Stormbroker, their prices will increase depending on the environment that we're on. And then the final thing to note is actually dungeons. So over on dungeons, as you're starting to grind dungeons, there is now a couple of new floors. So level 1 to 3 is when you're on Earth environment, and then you have 4 to 6 for Underworld, and then you have 7 to 9 for Void. Each one provides different drops. There is actually more potions as well, so you can kind of see all the different potion categories in here for Earth, as then we move over to Underworld. And then finally, now the Void potions in here as well. I'm going to have a separate video explaining how you do all the brewing and stuff, so make sure you subscribe so that you can stick around and see that in the near future. But other than that, that is pretty much everything you need to know for the 3 environments. I think it's a really cool feature, and it's really cool that you can flip between all 3 environments to grind whatever you're wanting to. But on that note, I hope this video helped explain it. Please drop a like right now if you haven't already, and please don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in another video very soon, guys. But goodbye for now. Thank you so much for watching.